Okay, in this first section, we're talking about how your body detoxes. And just briefly, this is another quick overview of how the course is set up, where we talk about how your body detoxes as one pillar, and then what can go wrong when you quit hormonal birth control. Again, this particular section, so this whole segment or second pillar is broken down by condition. So that's really easy for you to take a look at the modules and see, okay, which one do I need support for? Is it PCOS, endo, painful periods, etc., fatigue, whatever it may be. And then the last pillar is how to support your body through whatever happens. And while that middle pillar is really the meat of it, and what specifically you can do to support your body with any of those conditions that are in that second pillar, the third one isn't to be overlooked. And the reason for this is because it's a really broad overview of ways to support your body. It's when you're stopping hormonal birth control and just ways to support your hormones in general. So there's a lot of information in that particular section, even though it's not really made for a specific condition. There's still a lot to it. So I definitely encourage you to check that out. Of course, in this module, we're focusing just on that first pillar, the detox. How your body detoxes, we're going to look at a very broad overview of how your body detoxes. We'll talk about what detox is to begin with. And here I almost feel like, just because I don't have a slide for this and kind of hate to, skip forward and begin talking about this, let's just see if I can make myself full view here for a second. I don't really know how to do that. So let's go back. So let's just talk through. So what do I mean when I say detox? Well, every time you eat something, your body has to process it. And whether this is processing it so that it's able to be used by all of your body as nourishment, as support, as repair, to rebuild all of the things that your body requires food for making energy, whatever it is, that food has to be converted by your body into stuff that it can use. The matter, the food you eat, of course, is matter, and your body uses it, converts it into energy. And then what's left over is waste. So it's waste in the form of matter, it's physical. And that material is what I mean when we're talking detox processes. Now, the word detox, I feel like, is so overused in our society. And yes, in addition to the things that you intend to ingest, it also means all the other stuff that you don't mean to eat, like BPA and all of the phthalates and all of the synthetic xenoestrogens that we're exposed to on a daily basis, and all the chemicals and all that stuff that really gets you worked up and get nervous and gets your chest tight. So while we're talking about all that stuff too, the intention is not to get you worked up over all this stuff. And just know that your body is a beautifully, intricately designed system that was created by an intelligence far superior to that we can even imagine. And because of that, your body knows how to handle this stuff. Yeah, BPA might be a 21st century introduction to the world. It doesn't matter. Your body still knows how to handle a toxin. Like a toxin is a toxin, regardless. Your body knows how to handle it. Your body knows how to process it. Your body knows how to get rid of it. So what we're going to do is talk about how you support your body in these natural detox processes with whatever it is that it's trying to handle, whether it's these synthetic hormones that you've, unknowingly, without thinking about them, putting into your body every day for however long it's been, and not really thinking about the fact that they're endocrine disruptors. I mean, I was there, so I get it. Whether it is the food you eat, whether you're making making certain concessions, and so you're not eating all organic, or whether you're making certain concessions because you're eating out with friends at a restaurant. Like, I want you to, the goal of this is to set worry aside, because stress is a major toxin, and we want to lower those stress levels. We want to focus on what is within our power, what is within our own ability to support body. And so for that, again, when we're talking through this detox, section, just keep in mind, it doesn't matter, even if you were eating the cleanest diet possible, growing all of your own food and all of it's organic or organic plus or whatever, your body still needs to detox. And so this is how do you support all those mechanisms. All right, let's get into it. So when you eat your food, it gets broken down into smaller and smaller pieces, beginning in your mouth. So this is where the importance of chewing and really savoring your food come in, because here in your mouth, you're already starting that digestive process. There are enzymes in your saliva that begin breaking the food down. Your saliva moistens the food, makes it easier for the rest of your digestive tract to handle, and passing into, through your esophagus down into your stomach. And there's additional enzymes and gastric juices, and just the pH of your stomach, acid of all of those gastric juices within your stomach to help break that food down further. And then the churning action that takes place in your stomach. And then as that food passes out of your stomach into your small intestine, it gets blended with even more digestive enzymes from organs like your liver and your pancreas. And so it's here in your small intestine that your lymph system starts its work of transporting these more manageable, bite-sized pieces of food out of your digestive tract and into your bloodstream, where those nutrients from your food are able to be transported to the parts of your body that need them. And the reason that your lymph comes into play here in this transportation process is because lymph is part of your immune system. And this is one of the beautiful designs within your body that is made to help protect it from pathogens. You have your lymph acting as a gatekeeper between your digestive tract and the rest of your body. And this is a beautiful thing. So this diagram over here on the left, it shows most of your, at least most of your core, which is where we're interested in talking about anyways, because here in your core, let me get back far enough. Here in your core kind of is where most of that digestive work is going on. And you'll notice that there are lymph vessels, and this of course doesn't show all of the lymph vessels in your body. The lymph vessels here are in green, and these little dots are lymph nodes. And there is definitely some deeper lying lymph through the core of your body. And here, while it looks like it's kind of tucked away right in front of your spine in this picture, just know that those lymph vessels and those lymph nodes are all interspersed within your entire core. So from your spine all the way forward, all at all levels of your body. So this is just kind of, simplified view of what's really going on in there. Your lymph system connects with your circulatory system, adding volume to your blood. Unlike your circulatory system, which has a pump, you've got your heart to pump your blood throughout your body. Lymph relies a much more passive system, and it relies on muscle movements. It relies on delicate valves to keep lymph flowing in the right direction, and that's up towards your heart. So essentially think of these lymph vessels as lining your entire body, all the way from your toes all the way to your head. And anywhere where you have major joints, there's a collection of lymph vessels. So whether this is a joint like your elbow, or whether this is a joint like under your arm, and especially your shoulder joint, because of this huge range of motion, and your hip joints, so that groin area, are where major lymph nodes lie. And so lymph lies on movement within these joints, and just the pulsating movement of your blood, like arteries pulsating near lymph vessels, and then also those one-way valves to move lymph towards your heart. And why do I keep saying heart here? Well, it's because your lymph system, so your whole lymph system, regardless of where that lymph's coming from, if it's coming all the way down from your tippy toes, or somewhere in between, somewhere here in the digestive tract, lymph moves up and it actually drains into your circulatory system. So here in the center of your chest, this little hollow here, back behind here, is where your lymph drains back into your blood vessels on the way back into your heart. And then it again adds volume to your blood. Your lymph is your first pass immune response. Again, this is why it's considered the gatekeeper for your digestive tract. And the lymph itself is what suitcases up the nutrients from your food in order to transport those via your circulatory system to the tissues where they need to go. So we're going to take a little bit closer look at this in the way that food actually moves its way out of your digestive tract and into your body. So here we're going to break food down into the water soluble piece of food. So this is all the water soluble nutrients. This is water soluble vitamins, like those B vitamins, like vitamin C, like iodine, like magnesium. So most of these electrolytes, like sodium, magnesium, potassium, calcium, and then the water soluble vitamins, are transported out of your digestive tract by diffusion. So this is just, if you listen to the podcast, sometimes you'll hear me mention a couple words: osmolality and tonicity. So this is where stuff moves from a space of higher concentration to a space of lower concentration, is by these processes. It's just natural kind of passive process of diffusion, diffusing through your tissues, diffusing through your intestines into all of the vessels around it, which again would be blood and lymph vessels. And then there's also active transport out of your small intestines as well. Then for the fat soluble portion of it, so this is fat soluble nutrients and also fat soluble vitamins. So fat soluble nutrients being fats, and then fat soluble vitamins being those like vitamin E, vitamin K, vitamin A, and vitamin D. Those are transported out of your digestive tract by lipoproteins. Now, these are the very same lipoproteins that you see on a cholesterol panel. So LDL, that low density lipoprotein, and also HDL, high density lipoprotein. There are even larger size lipoproteins known as chylomicrons. So this, in this picture over here on the left, shows a range of different size lipoproteins. So HDL is the very, very smallest here, all the way on the left-hand side. LDL is, roughly 2 or 3 times bigger than HDL. And then there's intermediate density lipoprotein, very low density lipoprotein, and biggest of all is the chylomicron. So think of chylomicron as the oversized suitcase. And in that, your body's able to pack these fat soluble nutrients. And then once they're packed into that chylomicron, they're transported out of your small intestine again into your lymph for deposition into your circulatory system, so that they are then able to move throughout your body and go where they need to go. Now, where do they need to go? Well, most of the time stuff goes through your liver first, because your liver, this is a process known as first pass metabolism. Your liver kind of cleans up the stuff you eat and essentially further processes it to make it easier for your other body tissues to assimilate. For the water-soluble nutrients in your food, once they diffuse or once they're actively transported out of your digestive tract, they're absorbed more directly into your bloodstream. And during circulation, they route through your portal vein, which is the vein portal means liver. So anyway, it's the vein that is being processed by your liver. Now, your liver itself makes over 500 different enzymes that help all of these processes, that help to process all of the food that you consume. And your liver also makes bile, which is a mixture of cholesterol, it's a mixture of bile salts, it's a mixture of phospholipids and also bilirubin. Bilirubin is the stuff that when somebody is jaundiced, that's what gives that yellow coloration, bilirubin. Bile's necessary to help your body absorb fats. It's also necessary to help your body eliminate waste and to help neutralize stomach acid. Healthy bile flow is necessary for good digestion and also good detox. And so anything that impairs your bile flow, like hormonal birth control, both the synthetic estrogens and the synthetic progestins, alter bile flow, alter either the composition or the fluidity and contractility of your gallbladder, resulting in sluggish bile flow. So, and healthy bile flow is necessary for good digestion and good detox. How do you support your body's detox systems? Well, you support your major routes of elimination, which are pee, poop, and sweat. And so you do this by moving, by breathing, by eating right, by sleeping, and through manual lymph drainage. Again, movement is so important because when you move, you are moving lymph. This goes back to where all of these, so essentially we're going to tie in number 1 and number 5 here. Number 1, number 2, and number 5 here, all in one go. So when you move, that is helping to move your lymph. Anytime you move, it is encouraging lymph flow, because again, there's no pump to your lymph system. And so lymph would just have a tendency to stagnate in the absence of movement. Now, that's not to say, like, some of us are just blessed with having more mobile lymph than others. And there are definitely things you can eat to support lymph flow. There are things you can eat to support like more fluid lymph. This is where daily intake of water is important to give your body enough volume to add to create and kind of dilute that lymph and create more mass and bulk to the lymph. And again, movement, anytime you move, you are helping support lymph. Now, not all movement is created equal. So again, you have lymph nodes lymph nodes are clustered at major joints within your body. So when you're walking, when you're running, you're bicycling, most exercise, when you're weightlifting, most exercise is really good at getting your extremities to move. So it's really good at, helping the lymph in your elbow and in your arm to move. It's good at helping the lymph under your arm to drain. This is something that we're going to revisit in several of the sections throughout this. So just know that this will be a recurring theme. One of the other things that I want to mention here, though, where it's harder to get lymph to flow is in this midsection of your body. So this is where specifically Pilates comes into play. And Pilates is a form of exercise that was developed by Joseph Pilates. And it is all about moving the core of your body. So this is something that we definitely dive deeper into in the breast health section. It's also something that I've talked about previously on the podcast in a couple of episodes that you'll find linked in the references section. So when you're doing Pilates, which focuses on moving your core, so moving this area here, you are supporting lymph flow in this deeper area. Now, what is this going to do? Well, this is going to help move things. This will support your digestion. So if you struggle with digestion, if you struggle with inflammation, Pilates itself will help those things. Now, is it the end all be all? No, but this is also where we discount the value of our diet and especially the value of our lifestyle in our own health. I started in Pilates when my first year in college, and by the end of that first year in college, I had dropped 2 pant sizes. Now I was only doing Pilates twice a week for an hour. I was doing the mat course at the local Y for an hour at each of those classes. So 2 times a week, I was doing an hour long class. And over the course of a year, I dropped 2 pant sizes. And I attribute it to, and I mean, Pilates is not a vigorous exercise. You're hard pressed most of the time to work up sweat. But I attribute it to just how beneficial moving that deeper seated lymph is in clearing things out of your body and helping your body to eliminate toxins from your body. So I cannot stress enough like how important that is. And then the next on this is breathing. And the reason for this, and this is something, again, we'll revisit. But the reason for breathing is because of where your diaphragm lies. So your diaphragm is here, kind of below your rib cage. When you breathe deep, you are moving that diaphragm. That diaphragm is moving up and down. And what is it doing? It is massaging your liver, which is here on your right, your spleen over here on your left. It's massaging your pancreas, which is kind of up in here. It's massaging your gallbladder, which if you have one is kind of in here. It's also massaging your digestive organs. So your small intestines, is moving your large intestines as well. So breathing, just the simple act of breathing is so supportive to detoxing. And there are tons. The other key thing about breathing is when you breathe deeply and when you really focus on extending your exhales and making them as long as possible, you're sending messages to your body that it is okay to relax. And that's helping your body drop into a rest and digest state. And this is so helpful for helping you to actually absorb the nutrition from your food. I know that sounds crazy. There are scientific studies on this. that vitamins, especially B12, is better absorbed when you are in that rest and digest state. And meditation and breath work is actually associated with better absorption of vitamin B12. And again, that's not me making this up. That's actually scientific studies, like peer-reviewed scientific studies showing this. And so the other piece to that, if you're, because I mean, I tend to be super sciencey and super geeky and like, well, why is that? Why is that? It's because of what it does to your vagus nerve. And again, that message of helping your body transition into the parasympathetic state from the sympathetic state. So breathe deeply. And the easiest way to do this, there are a couple of really the two easiest ways to do this is one, set a calendar reminder for yourself for a 15-minute meeting every single day, set it up to recur daily for 2 years. And when that calendar reminder pops up, breathe deep for at least 2 minutes. So you don't have to use all 15 minutes, just 2 minutes. And when I say breathe deep, give your brain something to think about. So go ahead and say, okay, brain, you're going to think about extending those exhales and making sure that the exhales over the next 2 minutes are at least as long as the inhales. And then that gives your brain something to do so that it's not, freaking out over you wasting 2 minutes of your time breathing deeply. So anyways, now if you want to extend that to 5, even better. If you want to set up 2 15-minute reminders throughout the day, one in the morning, one in the afternoon, even better. The other thing to do is on your morning commute or your evening commute, whenever you have time, sing. You can also do this in the shower. So, and I mean, just belt it out. So singing is a great way to encourage yourself to breathe. Saying Om or chanting Om on your way into work or your way home from work, whenever you have a chance, is another great thing. All right, so moving on. Eating right. Eating right. So what does this mean? Is this always eating organic? What does this look like? Well, you know your body better than anybody else. You know how much, if you eat meat, you know how much beef you can eat a week and when that's going to, mess you up. What we're going for here is we want to eat things that are supportive to our body without knocking our blood sugar crazy out of whack, because that is one of the fastest ways to get your hormones really out of sorts. And then the other thing too is we want stuff that our body can actually digest. So when we eat, we don't want to still be full, 5 or 6 hours later going, oh my gosh, like I'm never going to digest that last meal. It's still just sitting there. So it doesn't mean always eating organic. I mean, this is where we're towing the line of keeping you out of the what you should be doing and just focus on the what is worthwhile to use your mental energy for in order to support your body. So here, if you are looking for ways to support your liver, ways to, cut that bile, help your liver with bile production, help your lymph, then there are 2 things for you: beets and radishes. And if you're doing this Ayurvedically, both of those would be cooked. So you would be eating cooked beets and you would be eating cooked radishes. The other piece to that is kind of the importance of fat in your diet. And here, this is something that would go into a little bit more in some of the different segments. I think it's worth mentioning that according to Amy Rapp's book, on egg quality diet, and this is whether you are intending to get pregnant or not, then at least 35% of your diet should be fats. And that supports a healthy body and healthy egg production, because when we're talking reproductive health, it's an overflow of the health of the rest of our body. So being sure that you're getting fats, they should be good quality fats. So if this looks like butter, yes, butter is a good quality fat, or ghee, which is also a good quality fat, or whether it looks like, whatever this looks like. I think right now people are super stressed out over seed oils and getting too much omega-6s in their diet. So if you want to focus more on the saturated fats like the butter and the ghee, and also the monounsaturated fats. So here, extra virgin olive oil, avocados, avocado oil, that kind of thing. And yeah, it's entirely possible just to eat more fatty foods in your diet. So again, the avocados, the fatty fishes, here's where nuts and seeds come in again. And I know there's a lot of debate over the omega-6s again. But anyways, that said, if you're kind of looking for a good omega-3 to omega-6 ratio, you can't beat flaxseed. And if you eat those, just store the whole flax in your fridge or freezer, and then daily or once a week, grind up what you'll need for the day or the week in a coffee grinder, and then store that in your fridge. All right, sleep. It's impossible to state the importance of sleep. At least 7 hours of sleep a night, preferably 8 hours of sleep a night. This supports healthy hormone production. And if this is kind of your first time listening or hanging out with me, then you haven't yet heard the Ayurvedic view of sleep, which is the importance of sleeping between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Or if you're a shift worker, sleeping between the hours of 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. And the reason for the 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is because this essentially you want to stay and you want to support your body's natural hormone rhythm. And every day you have a natural circadian rhythm where you have melatonin and cortisol ebbing and flowing over the course of a 24-hour span. And so by sleeping between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m., you are most aligned with that normal production of the melatonin and cortisol levels in how they support a sleep-wake cycle. Ayurvedically speaking, so that was scientifically speaking, Ayurvedically speaking, there is a time of day when your body is most able to repair, most able to be involved in these transformative processes, in these detox processes. And that is between the hours of 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. Again, if you are a shift worker, these times repeat themselves twice over a 24-hour period. So for you, it would be 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. So regardless, it's kind of, think of it as a 12-hour clock. 10 to 2 is what is the times that you're looking for, that 10 to 2 window, regardless of which side, if it's AM to PM, if it's PM to AM, whatever. So anyways, you get both sides of that. For more, for a deeper dive on that, be sure to check out the references section. There's a link to podcast episodes. There's a link to another course. It's actually a free course where I go a little bit more in depth in this. Manual lymph drainage, the last one here. So the easiest, like the manual lymph drainage that I do most often, and it's possible to do this anywhere on your body. This is why dry brushing or dry skin brushing is so popular, because it supports it supports lymph drainage. And so if you were to dry skin brush, you would take your brush and start at your tippy toes and just brush in broad in long strokes all the way up your body. And when you get to, say, your knee, for instance, you would brush kind of in a circular motion behind your knee. When you get up to your groin, you would brush in a circular motion inside your groin, and then continue brushing up body. There is a link in the section to a PDF on kind of the nitty gritty of dry skin brushing if you're interested. And then the one that I like to do most often is actually manual lymph drainage. And so there's also a link to like a YouTube video where I run through this. I think it's worthwhile doing here too. So again, your lymph drains into your circulatory system here. Just think of it in this little hollow of your neck. The thing with lymph, any kind of manual lymph drainage here, we're focusing on the superficial lymph system and the superficial lymph vessels. And again, those are lined with those tiny, delicate one-way check valves. And we want to be careful not to crush those, because those will take some time to reopen if you overdo it. So light touch is, just think feather light touch. So for lymph drainage, you'll take the tips of your fingers and think of tugging towards your midline. So just gently tug. And you'll start kind of at midline here and work your way out all the way along the top of your collarbone. So you work your way out. And you'll do this pass like 2 to 5 times. And then you work your way up. I think this one is, it's called ants falling down a waterfall or something. Ants on a, it's called something with ants on a trampoline or something, or maybe waterfall. So you just literally just run your fingers along your neck. Nothing, you can even do it reversed if you feel like that will be a little bit lighter touch. There's nothing fancy about it. It's just for light touch, nothing really to it. You can do it one-handed, you can do it double-handed. Then you form Vulcan fingers and place your hands kind of on either side of your ear. So you've got 2 fingers in front of your ear, 2 behind it. And this is where it's okay to get a little bit deeper pressure, but you just pull down. The reason for it being okay to get a little bit deeper pressure here is because this particular lymph node that you're trying to stimulate and encourage to flow is a little bit deeper seated. And the one that we're focusing on is actually the one here behind the ear, kind of in there you'll notice a little like knot or hard spot there on your head. And so just pull down. And then after you'll do that on both sides, maybe 5 times. Then with your thumbs, the pad of your thumbs, go under your foot line and just ever so lightly pull back towards your ears. And you do this maybe 5 times. And then once you do that, you do everything in reverse. And the reason for that is because we want to keep the pathways clear. So we've just drained everything, and now we want to help encourage all of that lymph to drain where it needs to go, back to your circulatory system. And again, there's a YouTube video linked on this in the references section. But that's what manual lymph drainage looks like. Again, that is supporting just the lymph kind of up in your head and neck. If you wake up with a headache, it is a great thing to do for if you have allergies. It's a great thing to do for yourself, just so supportive. So yeah, this is I think all I wanted to talk about in the how to support your base detox systems. There will be kind of a quick checklist added to this to just for you to refer to, so you kind of have an overview of what we talked about in this section. And the last thing to leave you with here is all of this sounds so simple. And that's the thing. It is. We have gotten so disconnected from our bodies. We've gotten so disconnected from ourselves, our state of being, the fact that we are natural beings, and have gotten like so involved in the cerebral and so caught up in thought that we've made it way more complex than it actually is. Like, all of this is simple. The other piece to this that I hope you're thinking about is how connected your entire body is. The Western medicine view is that your body is composed of all of these systems, and they're separate systems, entirely separate, and you need a specialist for every area. And the fact of the matter is, your body is fully integrated. And what is going on with your liver affects your thyroid. And what's going on with your blood sugar affects your blood. So anyways, that's really the key takeaway. And the other piece to this is you have far more power than you realize to move the needle when we're talking health. The health is merely a state of balance. It is, how balanced is your body right now? How balanced is it in its present environment? And so when you support your body in being and maintaining balance in whatever environment you're in, you arrive at a state of health, and your body wants to be there naturally. So all you're figuring out how to do is support it in these processes. That's it. All right. If you have any questions on detox, if there are any burning questions, anything outstanding, anything that you feel I didn't touch on, I didn't go into depth enough, reach out to me. You'll find me at hey@rainorganica.com, and that's hey as in HEY at rainorganica.com. All right, I will catch you in the next module.